So, should you vote conservative or liberal? Do you know when you're being played by your government, played by the media? Because you most certainly are, especially if you're young and trying to build a life. Here's some things to consider. Canada's GDP growth annualized over 10 years is 0.5%, the worst in the OECD. Trudeau increased the size of the federal government by 40%. Investment outflows from Canada are estimated at $500 billion. Based on Liberal policy, $650 billion of energy projects have been cancelled or mired in endless review. Corporate tax rates and personal income taxes have been raised. Trudeau ran massive budget deficits every year since 2015 before COVID, and famously claimed that the budget would balance itself. Immigration surged under the Liberals due to irresponsible policy, corrupt student visa applications, corrupt secondary education institutions, corrupt immigration consultants, and lazy and corrupt government. Trudeau crowed about using COVID as an opportunity for a great reset to fix inequities in the system that had nothing to do with the pandemic. And he wanted to use it to address climate change, like many other Western leaders very much in sync with WEF globalists from whom he takes his cues. And who is his WEF advisor? Mark Carney, the current installed PM. Now, Mark Carney, Trudeau's economic advisor for 10 years, has been anointed as party leader and thus PM with no mandate. He's taken over the same corrupt Liberal Party with virtually the same cabinet. Carney's entire focus is to push decarbonization and transition Canada to a centrally controlled, planned neo-Marxist economy, where he makes all the decisions, naturally, and directs billions of public funds into net zero transition and green energy programs, whereby he and his investors, including backers in the Chinese Communist Party, stand to profit handsomely. That's what he does. Carney founded the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero, GFANZ, which pushes national and corporate ESG initiatives to coerce corporations and governments to adopt his idiotic, counterproductive, and scientifically dubious green energy initiatives to enrich himself and his private backers. That's it. That's his entire agenda. Perhaps it's time to re-examine global warming. I mean climate change. Sorry, I mean the climate crisis. Don't you sometimes wonder if you're being played by the elites? Do you ever consider that maybe you're being lied to and manipulated by a massive, decades-long media-propagated psyop? Consider this. The WEF globalists are always looking for an excuse to control you. Have you not noticed that every initiative, every recommendation, every plan, every policy prescription inevitably involves further confiscation of your income, more encroachment on your autonomy, more curtailing of your rights, more intrusions into your privacy, more condemnation of your lifestyle, more censoring of your views, a decrease in your personal freedom, more limitations of your options, more regulation of your activity, and always more sacrifices on your part, whereas the money, resources, power, and self-laudatory praise go to those who impose these rules upon you? All while they fly around the globe in private jets, travel in limousines, eat in fancy restaurants, inhabit massive dwellings, spend lavishly on clothes, jewelry, and entertainment, and relax in large, serene, manicured private and exclusive spaces. Did you notice that? So when it comes to the alternative, a conservative candidate with a host of solid policy prescriptions, a desire for smaller, more accountable government, a plan to harvest and capitalize on Canada's abundant resources, lower taxes, improve public safety and law and order, safeguard personal autonomy. What do we hear from the Liberal-owned establishment media? A reasoned counter-argument, a biting critique, a legitimate alternate policy perspective? Nope. We hear instead that voting for him is voting for Trump. Why? Poilievre is on the ticket, not Trump. The Liberals constantly say that he's pushing Trump's agenda. Why? Because it riles up elderly boomers who only care about Trump. No other reason. You ever feel like you're being played? You are. We're told that Poilievre wants to use the notwithstanding clause to ban abortion. Why? The Conservative platform states explicitly that they will enact no legislation to restrict abortion. I grew up here. The abortion debate was settled in the late 1980s, and there is no political movement to reopen it. You know when you're being played? When the US overturned Roe v. Wade, Justin Trudeau immediately announced that he'd always protect women's rights. Why? There's no Roe v. Wade up here, it has no bearing. Why did he bring it up? Because you're being played. We are told that Pierre Poilievre will sell to the country to Trump. We hear that he, not the international banker with Chinese investors and overseas tax havens, wants to sell out the country. Why do they say that, and with what justification? Because you're being played. Yes, Donald Trump is currently an issue for Canada because of his trade policy and tariffs. That will apply to any candidate. But did Donald Trump create the last 10 years of stagnation, crime, uncontrolled immigration, housing affordability crisis, red tape, regulation, environmental obstructionism, identity politics, and soft-on-crime legal system? No. So when the establishment tells you that a vote for Pierre Poilievre is a vote for Trump, do you believe them? Why? Because you're being played. Liberals are the party that defy common sense. Don't believe me? Try it. Pick an issue: immigration, crime, energy policy, taxation, regulation, censorship, sexuality and gender identity, vaccines, autonomy, foreign aid, drug addiction. Pick any area of governance or human activity and you will see liberal policies that run counter to what most people would consider to be common sense. Vote for Pierre Poilievre if you want change. Trump is not on the ticket. Change and a better country are. Vote accordingly if you want a future for Canada and not another 10 years of failure.